How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Flame and we are back with another FPL video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the best captaincy choices for double game week 24. It's a bit scarce and there are some potential injury worries for some of the captains we were looking at, so we're going to take a deep dive into 4 captains that I think should be good bets for this week, and as well as one differential in a position that you might not necessarily think about when coming to captaining a player in a double game week. If you are enjoying the series and you are enjoying the videos on the channel, make sure to leave a like. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new. It helps out the channel greatly. And turn those notification bells on so that you can get the content as soon as it is readily available. And drop us a follow over on Twitter so you can keep up to date with all the content that is being posted over on Twitch and YouTube and any updates that come out regarding those, as well as give us a follow over on Twitch so that you can see when we go live for our next FPL stream, which will be Saturday, 1 hour before the Game Week 24 deadline. That's 5 a.m. EST over on Twitch. And that's where we do all of our FPL streams. So come on over, join in on the chat, and let us know what you're doing with your team. So without further ado, let's see who's on the captaincy list this week. So the first player that you saw on the thumbnail is Ilkay Gundogan, the man in form. 104 points this season, 9 goals, 1 assist. I believe he's got all 9 of those goals in like the last 10 or 11 game weeks. He's been pretty incredible in this last run of games that City have been doing so well on, going unbeaten. And I'm pretty sure they have like 13 or 14 wins in a row, something crazy like that. So they've been on fire, and it's because of this man as well as a couple other players. But he's been providing the goals as well, even though he did miss a penalty versus Liverpool. He's currently 6 million and much cheaper than any other City attacking assets at the moment, which is why he's so desirable, which is why his percentage ownership is now over 0.25% of all the teams have him at 26.6%. Got 13 points despite missing a penalty, and he has a double game week this week with an FTR rating of 4 for the Spurs at home game and a 3 for Everton away. So those two fixtures, both teams conceding quite a lot of goals when they played against each other in the FA Cup last night in a 5-4 shootout. So maybe Ilkay Gundogan can get some kind of freedom in there as well. He is first for XG among all players over the last 4 matches with 3.08, and is tied first for big chances with 4 in the last 4 matches as well. And he's also 5th for non-penalty XG as well. So if you thought that he was maybe getting some of that boosted because of his XG, nope. It's 1.99. He's 5th for non-penalty XG as well. And as we mentioned, cheaper than all the other mids, cheaper than Sterling, like 5.6 million or 5.5 million, however much it is. Lower than Sterling. He's 2 million less than Mars, but he's nailed on. He's 1.5 million less than Bernardo Silva. Is a bit more of a risk. However, there is the caveat that he might be moved back to defensive midfield for one of these 2 games because Rodri came off injured in their FA Cup game versus Swansea, and Fernandinho's been a bit touch and go with some quad or thigh issues, where basically he's felt a bit of tightness there. So those are the only 2 actual replacements in defensive midfield. So if Gundogan has to drop back a little bit deeper, he may be getting less and less in the box. However, there is a little bit of a bright side to that with the fact that Fernandinho wasn't in training. However, Rodri was in training, and he was one of the few players that was pictured in training today. So they still have one more training session before their game on Saturday. So they should be okay on that front. But Gundogan, definitely a very good captaincy shout for this week. A very good front runner for the captaincy. And City with a double game week, can't look past it. And next up, we have another City player in Raheem Sterling, someone who's also been doing quite well for himself. He does cost 11.6 million, so a lot more expensive than Gundogan, but he has a little bit more points this season and is a little bit more well-rounded. He's got 8 goals and 6 assists, unlike Gundogan's 9 goals, 1 assist, so he can kind of provide a little bit of both. Often gets taken down for penalties as well, so if City could start scoring a few, then it would probably help him out. Obviously, Gundogan did miss the penalty versus Liverpool, which he got taken down for, so would have potentially had more points than the 8 points that he did end up getting. He's 13.1% owned, so he's a lot less owned than the likes of Gundogan, and that's because he costs more. And people like the fact that Gundogan is getting goals rather than, people like when players score goals and get in the box and get real close, where Sterling has been doing that, but has often kind of found himself majority of his time out on the width, on the left wing, which is not what you necessarily want to see from somebody who's costing that much money. However, He is versus Spurs and Everton, much like Gundogan, who are tied second and third respectively for shots conceded in the box. As in, they are the second and third worst at conceding shots inside the box, which is exactly what you want from Sterling and Gundogan, being inside the box and getting shots off. Also, Sterling is top 5 for shots in the box with 10 over the last 4 matches, so obviously that kind of helps that stat as well. And he's also second for XGI, and the only person he's behind is Ilkay Gundogan, and his is 3.54. And he's also tied first for big chances as well. So both him and Gundogan, very difficult to kind of differentiate the two apart from price overall. Sterling is going to be a little bit more balanced, whereas Gundogan's probably going to get you more of a haul. And I think that, given the two players, if you have both of them in their team, in your team or in whoever's team, it'd be very tough to pick between the two. Me personally, I'd probably side towards Sterling, but there is that risk that he might be rested in one of the games. I just don't see it happening with City's current roster of players. There's not really many players that can do really well what he does so effectively, and that's hold the width and create chances and make runs in towards the back post. So I think he's definitely going to be a mainstay, and he rarely gets dropped for the big games, as it were. So Spurs and Everton, teams up in the top 6 of the table, I think he's going to play both of those games. So I think Sterling is definitely a consideration for the captaincy this game week. Now, somebody who also has a double game week this game week has Fulham at home and Manchester City at home is Dominic CalvertLewin, currently 7.7 million as a forward, 120 points, 13 goals, 5 assists, and is back on the goal scoring trend, getting 12 points in a late, I was going to say winner. It felt like a winner with the timing of the goal, but ended up getting the 3-3 draw versus Man United and ended up racking himself a goal and assist and getting 12 points for himself. He also scored in the 5-4 victory over Spurs in the FA Cup, so back-to-back games for Calvert-Lewin getting on the score sheet. He's also second for most shots on target in the last 4 matches, so quite accurate. He's had 9 shots, 8 in the box and 7 on target, which is exactly what you want from the likes of Calvert-Lewin, where he's going to be most effective. And he's, like we said, he's back in form, but with that form potentially comes an injury that he may have picked up in the FA Cup. He was substituted off. Duncan Ferguson, who is one of the assistant coaches for Carlo Ancelotti's Everton, said that he felt a tweak in his hamstring, so he did miss a couple of weeks out with that, and he may be back on the sideline because of it. So I say wait for the press conference tomorrow. This is at the time of recording this on the Thursday the 11th. Usually the rest of the press conferences are going to come out on Fridays, which will be the 12th of February. So make sure to check that out just to see what Carlo Ancelotti has to say in regards to his fitness for the Fulham game. If he is going to be only available for the Man City game, so if Carlo Ancelotti says, yeah, definitely out for the Fulham game and we'll have to see for Man City, he may be a transfer out. But I would say if he says he's good to go, then I would definitely consider him for the captaincy shout this game week. Now, somewhat of a boring pick and only has a single game week this week, although it is a very good fixture on paper. West Brom away is Bruno Fernandes. He is 11.5 million, so he's gone up 1 million more than what he was at the start of the season. 169 points, 13 goals, 11 assists, and is almost 60% owned across the entire game. And got another return for himself, getting back on the score sheet with a fantastic effort from outside the box in that 3-3 draw versus Everton. I expect him to be involved in the goals among all the Man United players versus West Brom, who have been shipping goals for fun. He's back in the groove now. He's got his return, and it was not a penalty, funnily enough. Mind you, he made it look very easy, so it could have been as easy as a penalty for him, but we won't know unless we ask him personally. And basically, it just doesn't seem right to captain a player that's not got a double game week in a double game week. In any other week, we'd be thinking Fernandes locked in, captaincy, no problem this week, just easily on Fernandes because versus the worst defense in the whole league, and he's, going to score a lot of goals versus them. But it is only a single game week fixture. So if you have nothing else, if you have like triple City defense and, you don't have Calvert-Lewin and he is injured or something like that, then maybe you kind of just default to Fernandes because there's no reason why he couldn't go out there, get 2 goals and an assist, which could be better than any player that's playing 2 games. So we'll have to see on that front. And he is third for XGI over the last 4 matches with 3.26 in that regard, which is, again, only behind the two City boys and Gundogan and Sterling. So if you're looking for someone to kind of default to, I think Fernandes is your bet, but would definitely go for a double game week player if I had the choice. Gundogan, Sterling, even to bring him in for a hit probably would still be better than Fernandes, but could just default to Fernandes if you think that he's definitely going to hold this game week. Now, my differential captaincy choice for this week is Nick Pope, a goalkeeper. Now, funnily enough, in past double game weeks over the past seasons or so, you'd be surprised the number of defenders and goalkeepers that actually get some pretty decent holes. To whereas if you think, you know what, maybe if I had captained them, would have probably got better points, because it just seems like the appeal is there. And he does have very good fixtures. Crystal Palace away, Fulham at home. Two teams that are bottom for big chances. Crystal Palace is bottom 2 with 4 big chances, and Fulham is bottom 4 with only 6 big chances over the last 4 matches. So potentially a double clean sheet on the cards. And if you're going to have to, if you're going to have a player, a Burnley player, where they solely rely on defense, it's not going to be fun to watch. You're going to be sitting there, bricking it the entire time and hoping that they keep a clean sheet. And every time the ball's shot at the goal, you're just going to hope Pope saves it. And obviously, if they concede an early goal to something jammy, or maybe, defense makes a mistake, then it's just going to be bad for the rest of the time, unless, they get a penalty, in which case you hope Pope saves it, which is obviously very unlikely for any goalkeeper. At all. But the last time they did play Crystal Palace, though, he did get a clean sheet. We got 10 points in that fixture as well. They haven't played Fulham as of yet, because this is one of the games that was being rescheduled from when they had to miss out because of Fulham having to deal with the COVID breakout in their camp. And Burnley can now focus on the league solely. They're out of the FA Cup. They're out of the Carabao Cup. They're not in Europe at all. So they can focus solely on the league, which makes it they don't have to deal with, midweek fixtures and all that, at least for a little while the other teams are in Europe. So definitely a little bit better there. I think if you are going to captain Pope, you probably want to potentially, if you're not, definitely have another Burnley defender, whether it be Lowton or me or Tarkowski. If you just have Pope, you probably would want to captain him, to be honest, because a lot of people are going to be doubling up almost certainly with their transfers, or people that are on a wild card for this week as well. I think it is a bit of a risky pick. It's not really the ideal way to kind of, look at a captain and be like, come on, we need to keep a clean sheet, and you're going to be basically waiting the whole 90 minutes to make sure that the enemy score doesn't go up above 0. So it's going to be a bit of a nerve-wracking one. But Pope, if you're feeling a bit risky, if you're feeling a bit maverick, put the armband on the Englishman in goal for Burnley this game week. And that's going to do it for all of our captaincy choices for double game week 24. If you are enjoying the series and you are enjoying the videos on the channel, make sure to give them a like. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new. It greatly helps out the channel, as well as turn those notification bells on so that you can get the content as soon as it is readily available. And make sure to drop us a follow over on Twitter. Been a little bit more active over there, as well as posting any information that we get for the double game weeks. And you can see when we go live for new video posts or any new streams, which we do over on Twitch. So drop us a follow over there as well, so that you can see when we go live for our FPL preview and deadline streams, which our next one will be Saturday, 1 hour before the deadline at 5 a.m. EST over on Twitch. So make sure to check us out over there. There's also a pinned comment down below that will give you the exact time and details for the next streams as well. Thanks for watching, and until the next one, take care.